Bienvenidos de nuevo, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Estamos listos ahora para nuestra presentación de la doctora Gladys Colón, Coordinator of Student Financial Literacy, coordinadora de entendimiento estudiantil de finanzas. No sé, Gladys. Para una presentación sobre ayuda financiera. So we're having a presentation on financial aid by our very own Dr. Gladys Colón, who is a graduate of Eastern Connecticut State University and at the undergraduate level, and is an expert on student financial aid and assisting students and their families to understand how to pay for college. Dr. Colón.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Thank you, Marianne, for that introduction. My name is Gladys Colón. I am the Financial Literacy Coordinator here at CCSU. A little bit about me. I am a first-generation student as well. I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, and went to the public schools here in Hartford and eventually pursued an undergrad, a grad, and a doctorate to be in a better position to have a voice for our students. Because even today, as our world is changing and our demographics shift, we know there's a need there to be able to connect with all our students in whatever point they are in their lives, whether they're coming right from high school, took a break, worked, and came in, or are transferring. We have a wealth of information among my professionals, and I guarantee you that once you become part of the CCSU family, you will always be part of our family. So with that being said, I'm going to provide you some basic information. I can't really address your personal financial questions, but I'm happy to have a chat afterwards, or maybe my colleagues can help with the delivery of additional information regarding financial aid. So clearly I have lost control of my PowerPoint. Someone else is controlling it. So with that being said, we can move to there we go. So bienvenidos, mi nombre es Gladys Colón. Estamos aquí todos para ayudarlos. Es una familia, sinceramente, y los amigos míos de nuestra universidad, sinceramente, son una de las mejores personas que yo conozco en mi vida. Le voy a dar una presentación sobre diferentes recursos en términos de ayuda financiera. Yo soy una persona que, pues, espero que sea agradable, pero para recibir a todo el mundo, especialmente con la ayuda económica, porque la realidad es que esto no es gratis, hay que pagar. Entonces yo quiero darle los recursos que usted busca para poder obtener esa meta de graduar a sus hijos o hijas de la universidad. So, moving forward. Bienvenidos. Okay. So, la primera parte de conocer este proceso es entender que ayuda financiera sí hace la diferencia. Financial aid does make a difference. Yo veo muchísimas familias y muchísimos estudiantes que no entienden la necesidad de hacer la solicitud FAFSA. Esa es la solicitud más importante para poder tratar de ver cuál es la ayuda que el centro le puede brindar. Nosotros tenemos muchos recursos, pero últimamente tiene que ser algo que la familia entiende y participa. Porque if the parents don't participate and the student does not take the FAFSA seriously, it's going to make things harder for the student and the family. So financial aid does make a difference. Okay, who is eligible for financial aid? ¿Quién es elegible para ayuda financiera? You have to be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, which means you have to be a green card holder. You must have successfully completed high school, whether it's through GED, homeschool, or the traditional high school. You could be a full-time student. You could be a part-time student to qualify for financial aid. Must be matriculated. Matriculated is just a fancy word we use here in higher ed to indicate you are pursuing a degree. The government does not allow Central or any school to just give financial aid for students that tend to be career students. We need our students to enroll, and we need our students to graduate within a specific time frame. And then it used to be that the males had to register for selective service. But as of 22-23, it is no longer a federal mandate. It's truly optional, but it does not impact your eligibility. What is financial aid? A lot of people don't understand what financial aid is. And a financial aid is the big umbrella. And then within that umbrella, we have a series of different resources that come from the federal government, the state government, CCSU funds. We offer scholarships to students, and we try very hard to offset your educational expenses. But it all comes down to when the financial aid form was completed. So know that once you complete that form, which is the federal form, the FAFSA, Central can consider you for a variety of opportunities. Okay, so these are some of the resources that the FAFSA application will allow Central to provide for families on a case by case. So the Pell Grant is the best type of grant because it's a federal one. And that grant belongs to the student regardless of the institution the student will attend. So in other words, Pell Grant is an entitlement, and it goes with the student wherever the student is going to enroll in. We don't control the Pell Grant, the government does. We also have a second educational opportunity grant, also from the federal government. That one is subject to availability. In other words, the government may give Central X number of dollars in that grant to offer it to students that fit the criteria. And usually the criteria means you qualify for Pell, so you're going to qualify for this one as well. The federal work study is super important, and we talked about that a little bit throughout the conference this morning, is the ability for the student to get a job on campus and have the work study through FAFSA pay for the student. The idea is that you would get a job on campus, work with one of our offices, and start to create networking opportunities, right? Because when you work in one of our offices, you start to build relationships with supervisors and other professionals, staff, and faculty. So when the time comes for you to graduate, you have amazing potential references, right? When you go to apply for graduate school, these faculty and staff members that you've established relationship with through work study can be utilized as references. So work study at a university campus is so critical because it allows not only for the student to make some extra cash, and here at Central, work study does not pay the bill. Work study is an opportunity for the student to earn wages. But it's also providing opportunities and camaraderie with other students and with faculty and staff, most importantly. We're also going to try to provide students understanding about the student loans. All right, we know as a people, Latinos, struggle with student loan debt. But a lot of it comes with the fear of the unknown. A lot of it comes from myths that your neighbors or la noticia or una compañera might have provided you the opportunity to fear this as an option. Listen, I'm going to be very transparent. Without federal loans, I could not attend college. As a first generation student, I had no other resources but to use the student loans that were provided for me. I used them for undergrad, I used them for grad, and I've used them for the doctorate. So I am a prime example of why the student loans work. You just have to be smart borrowers, all right? We don't want to borrow more than we need. We don't want to create additional debt that's unnecessary. And my office provides that guidance. So if your sons and daughters attend Central, we can set up a time to discuss what the loans really mean for that student and how do we get out of the debt sooner than later. The federal government also provides our families, our parents, student loan options, right? So the Stafford loans for students are guaranteed. So there's no credit check for the student and there's no co-signers needed for the federal loans. The parent loans will require a credit check. So the parent has to have decent credit to get the parent loan approved. And the parent loan is an option for those families that the financial aid was just not enough. So you need that loan to help carry the gap that we still need. In addition to that, at Central, we will definitely consider the student for state and university grants, and this is going to vary from school to school. Those funds are specific to the institution, and typically it's a first come, first served type of situation. So just to give you a quick overview, again, federal student loans are guaranteed. Understand what that means. If you completed a FAFSA, you will be guaranteed federal student loans without co-pay, without co-borrows, and without a credit check. So freshmen will get $3,500 plus $2,000 guaranteed, regardless of the institution. Sophomores will qualify for $4,500 plus an additional $2,000. And then juniors and seniors will qualify for $5,500 plus $2,000. So a couple things. Note that the subsidized is interest-free. So students who borrow the subsidized loan don't have to worry about interest until after graduation. Unsubsidized loans do accrue interest upon disbursement. So you're accruing a percentage of interest on that specific $2,000. But you can go into repayment at any time during your undergrad experience without any prepayment penalties. And that's a discussion we can have one-on-one, so I can direct you to your lender and the best way for you to graduate with very little debt. But student loans should not be feared. Is it an opportunity and a resource to help our young folks make it through? Other sources in financial aid, because they come from every faucet, and because I see students regularly, I see these amazing scholarships and private resources that the student obtain on their own. So know that it could be federal government money in addition to what FAFSA offered you, and state funding. We have many students who qualify for private scholarships through their parents' jobs, through the boys' club, through the girls' clubs, through civic groups, through their churches. So it's important that you as a family, and specifically the student, tries desperately and very hard to find other resources in addition to what Central is going to give you. So we won't take away what you have already. We just want you to add to the pool so we can make your bottom line be a lot more affordable. So these are opportunities that are specific to our families, but they're great opportunities because they tend to be renewed every year. So our student has an idea of what to plan for second, third, and fourth year. All right. So many colleges and universities will provide you financial aid on the basis of merit and need. So here at Central, financial aid is provided to our incoming class through our admissions process. They recommend a potential merit scholarship. So merit means there's some great stuff coming to us from your experience in high school, right? You did well academically. You really stood out from the other students. So our admissions office recognizes that. The financial need becomes something that our office will work with you closely, because even if financial aid packaged you, we have other scholarships that we can help with. And typically they're considered hardship scholarships, but there's a lot of opportunities for your sons and daughters to be considered for other resources other than FAFSA, right? Here at Central, we only require the FAFSA. You don't need to do the CSS profile, and we don't have an additional institutional application. Deadlines and application requirements vary by institution. For us, CCSU would like you to apply and do your FAFSA by May 1st to be considered for all financial aid. This means everything from Pell Grant, university grant, state grant, work study, and of course your student loans. Yeah. So this is an important slide because I want my undocumented population to understand that we're committed to you as well. You are a part of our family, you are a part of our community, and we don't want you to feel left out. So I'm very proud and thankful to folks at the state level who provided our institution with funding to provide to our undocumented students. Our undocumented students typically cannot complete a FAFSA because they're missing, they don't hold a valid social security number for federal purposes. But through my office, and this is the link I'm providing you, all undocumented students can click on the link and complete the application. It comes directly to me. It's confidential. I don't share that information with anyone. And then we assess and make an award to assist our students. You could be part-time or you could be full-time. So understand that we are committed to our undocumented student population, and we want to do everything and anything we can to make your experience at Central affordable and where you feel safe and you feel that you're part of our family. All right, so understand that we at Central will love you here. As Dr. Toro told us this morning, Central wants you. But I want you to understand that we, as a committee, want to endorse higher education, period. We want your sons and daughters to go to higher ed. We would love it to be here, but we understand there's options. So know that FAFSA will help pay for the community college, the four-year public school, which is us, our sister schools, Eastern, Western, and Southern, the 12 community colleges, and UConn. The four-year private school also provides financial aid, but those you want to be very careful with. They tend to be a little more expensive. And that's a conversation we can have one-on-one. And of course, all the trade schools. FAFSA pays for provides assistance for any of these venues. And of course, I need to, applaud trade schools because we need plumbers, right? We need mechanics. We need engineers that deal with electricity. So the trades are very much part of our language. And I'm happy to report that financial aid is afforded to anyone in these venues. And then just a little bit of inside information. You can negotiate your financial aid package, right? It's acceptable and encouraged. We tend to be very by the book in terms of challenging authority, but this is a time when you don't want to be shy. You want to say to our financial aid office, well, my son received this or my daughter received this. Is there anything else you can do for us? And it's a conversation. And I can promise you that we will provide you resources to assist in some capacity. So don't be afraid to negotiate your financial aid. So this is what the FAFSA on the web would look like. And I'm hoping by now, many of you have completed it since they were available as of October 1st. So the FAFSA for 22-23 became available October 1st. So this is what it would look like. You will be doing start a new FAFSA. And from there is literally the application that would allow Central to receive your data and provide you the best financial aid package. It'll identify the opportunity for you to log in. You will need a FSA user ID for you, and you will need a FSA user ID for parent. So these are two different things that need to happen before you can begin the application. For our families that are undocumented, I want to make sure we understand the facts. If the student is eligible to complete the FAFSA, but the parents are not, it is okay to complete the FAFSA anyway. As long as the student is documented or a U.S. citizen, he or she is eligible for financial aid, regardless of parent status. So I want to make sure you understand that, because there are many myths which keep our families from even attempting the FAFSA. So again, for our families who are undocumented, as long as the student is documented or is a U.S. citizen, we move forward with the FAFSA, even though parents may be undocumented. And that's a conversation I'm happy to have one-on-one if necessary. So a couple things you want to be aware of. Financial aid is not transferable. So what does that mean? That means that if you started at Central in the fall and then wanted to transfer to UConn in the spring, you'd have to get financial aid all over again at UConn. The financial aid stays at the initial institution. It does not transfer. Financial aid awards are going to change from year to year. Most likely your freshman financial aid awards will be most attractive, but they may change from year to year. Clearly, our cost at a four-year institution is going to vary from the two-year institution, which is our community colleges. So you will note a change and a shift in affordability or cost. In-state versus out-of-state will vary, right? So in-state is important as you apply to admissions, that you get recognized as an in-state student. And you always want to be aware of what's going on. Please, please check your deadlines. Every school has a different one. And again, I'll reiterate, ours is May 1st for the incoming class. This is a slide on different private scholarship searches. Give you an opportunity to just seek other resources other than the ones you may have already. I'm going to encourage you to really work with your sons and daughters' guidance office, because they are the gateway to many, many other opportunities. And you'd be surprised how much scholarship money gets unused because students don't apply. You can't win if you don't apply. That's the opportunity that many of us are trying to provide for you, allowing your cause to be so much better than not. So this is just a few pointers for opportunities for additional scholarship. And questions. Any questions?
Dr. Colon, I have a question.
Yes, of course.
How do students and their parents make sure that students qualify for work study on campus? Many students are eligible, but don't seem to know it.
Okay, that's a great question. So first of all, it's on the FAFSA. You have to answer yes. Are you interested in the federal work study program? Please indicate yes on the FAFSA. Then Central receives that information, and typically we award work study later on after the packages. They're going to give you the initial package that goes towards the bill. Work study is like frosting on the cake, right? So we want students to seek the ability to ask financial aid, can I please have work study? And I've been very, very a strong advocate for our students that seek work study and just didn't know enough about it. I can promise you, if eligible, I will get it for you.
And for that, at the Centro, we are very, very grateful. Very, very grateful.
Of course.
Mr. Franco has a question. Mr. Franco.
Sí, muchas gracias. I just have a question about the Connecticut State University grant. Is it the same as the federal grant?
No, the federal grant is the Pell Grant, which goes with the student wherever they're gonna attend. The state grant is driven by every institution. So if you're gonna attend a state institution, there's some funding available there, but those are first come, first serve. So you want your son or daughter to adhere to the May 1st deadline.
Understand. Thank you.
Of course.
I also can now say, gracias, President Toro, we have some scholarship money at the university through the CCSU Foundation to allow undocumented students to have an experience on campus similar to work study, since they can't earn federal work study money, but we have some scholarship money that can reward them, right, or allow them to undertake particular projects. And we have a student in the center now who's doing that and finding for us all the up-to-date information about Connecticut Students for a Dream and updating websites and things like that. And we're very, very grateful. So the fact that one is documented or undocumented does not necessarily mean that one cannot find employment of some sort on campus. It just depends on whether it's kind of an internship or an actual hourly employment possibility. And aquí en el centro tenemos, yo perdí cuenta porque cambia todo el tiempo, pero tenemos como 9 o 10 estudiantes trabajando en el centro y ellos ayudan a organizar programas, están aquí apoyando el programa de hoy. También hacen otras cosas para nosotros. Mr. Franco, have all your questions been answered?
Yes, they have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, because I see your hand is still up. Mirna, would you like to share something? Or ask a question? You're muted. You're muted.
Have to. Thank you, Marianne. Lo que yo quería compartir con el grupo es que además de las becas, yo les sugiero que también busquen becas privadas. La que yo estoy refiriéndome es una beca.
Calaje.
Sí, es cierto. Calaje, Connecticut Association of Latinos in Higher Education. Nosotros le damos becas a estudiantes que están entrando por primera vez y además estudiantes de colegio y también undocumented. So, la solicitud yo se lo voy a mandar a Marianne.
No, yo estoy poniendo ahorita en el chat.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias. Las becas son de $1,000. Escogimos todos los años, si podemos, por medio de los ahorros, como 25 becas. Pero yo les sugiero a todo estudiante, además los de Centro, que soliciten. Centro siempre ha tenido como 2 o 3 estudiantes que han recibido esta beca. So, yo les sugiero que además de estas becas que la doctora Colón le explicó, que vayan y busquen otras becas, porque eso es una ayudita bastante importante. Gracias.
Y el website de Connecticut Students for a Dream tiene una página sobre becas maravillosa que no solamente es para estudiantes no documentadas, pero son para estudiantes de cualquier tipo que están abiertos a estudiantes no documentadas. Y recomiendo este website que coloqué el link en el chat hace un tempito. Doña Wilda.
Sí, también
levantó la mano.
Sí, quiero añadir lo que Myrna dijo y lo que estamos mencionando sobre becas también. Los estudiantes que participan en programas como Educational Opportunity Program, el EOP, y Care Scholars, también que quieren beneficiar sobre las oportunidades en el verano para hacerse transición a la universidad, que ofrecemos cursos y ofrecemos también mucho apoyo durante el año académico, ayuda de advisors y de mentores. Trabajamos bien cerca con los que viven en el campus. Ofrecemos becas también para esos estudiantes que son parte de programas específicos. Y tenemos alumnos que donan, tenemos la comunidad que dona becas, la misma institución que ofrece becas. Lo importante es, como les dije al principio, pregunten qué clase de becas yo califico, si estoy en este programa, si participo en este deporte o si estoy envuelta en este grupo. Siempre hay cierta beca que tiene un criterio para, de acuerdo a esos talentos y esa carrera que tú que vas a escoger. Así que pregunten, que estamos aquí para ofrecerle toda la información que ustedes van a necesitar. Gracias, Marianne.
Yeah. All right. Gracias a todos por participar.
De nada, gracias a todo el mundo que está participando. Estamos casi en la hora de llegar a cómo aplicarse a la universidad. Si queremos un breve break, ¿no? Regresaremos con Carlos Soler de nuestro departamento de admisiones. ¿Ya? Gracias, todo el mundo. Muchas gracias, Gladys. Thank you. Maravilloso, como siempre, para todo el mundo que está aquí. Tener doctora Gladys Colón en Speed Dial es bueno, yo no quiero decir esto porque tal vez es un secreto que quiero así guardar para mis estudiantes, pero realmente es una persona en la universidad que nunca o casi nunca me dice no. Me dice en vez voy a encontrar una manera. She never tells me no. Whenever I ask for, she always tells me I'm going to find a way. And some of the students here working today have really benefited from that assistance on her part and others. And so thank you, Gladys.